Good morning and welcome to today's Cabinet meeting. This is not a public meeting, but a meeting the public can attend. I'm Ros Jones, Mayor of Doncaster, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's meeting. Before we commence proceedings, I'd like to outline that the domestic arrangements for the meeting. We are not expecting a fire practice today. If the alarm sounds, please leave the building and actually congregate the other side of the water in front of Cass. This meeting will be recorded and published on the Council's website. By entering the Council chamber, you are accepting that you will be recorded and your images will be retained and broadcast by the Council. If anyone intends to record today's meeting, please ensure this does not disturb the meeting. Please ensure that your mobile phones are switched to silent. Item 1, apologies for absence. Are there any apologies, please? Thank you. Item 2, exclusions of the public and press. There are no items on the agenda where the public and press are to be excluded. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Item 3, public statements and questions. We have no public questions or statements today. Item 4, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest, please? If there are, can you sign the declarations interest form and pass it to Governance Services? Item 5, decision records from the meeting held 12th of March and the extraordinary meeting on the 19th of March. These have been previously circulated and are for noting only. Agreed?
Agreed.
Item 6, Adult Skills Fund allocation for the academic years 25-26 and 26-27. I will invite Councillor Sue Farmer, Cabinet Member for Children, Young People and Families, to introduce this item.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. This is a great opportunity for Doncaster, which aligns to our strategic ambitions for education and skills and will support our local economy. We have lobbied for an additional adult skill funds over the past few years, and this increased allocation is welcomed and provides an additional 640,000 for our 25-26 academic year, results in a budget of 1.45 million to provide adult, family and community learning for our residents. Also, an additional 360,000 will be going to Doncaster colleges, resulting in an additional 1 million budget coming into Doncaster for delivery of adult skill support. It will enable closer working with Doncaster colleges through a partnership agreement to bring college delivery into our community settings aligned to the Thrive agenda. This will ensure better pathways and transitions for learners and reduce disengagement after referrals onto further learning. We will work closely together with Doncaster colleges to fulfil employment opportunities that become available through the airport reopening and other city redevelopments. This additional funding will strengthen the services structure and capacity, meeting service needs and meeting service needs and that have previously been underachieved within the confines of existing allocations. It will create a greater number and breadth of opportunities to support those with low or no formal qualifications. As we know from data, this is an area of need and something we need to see improvement. It will better serve the interests of learners, making learning more relevant, engaging and focused on developing a broad set of life skills required to flourish in life and work. This proposed growth plan builds on our existing strong core offer, which has supported around 4,000 learners over the past 2 years. At the end of 2023, the service received a good rating by Ofsted overall. 98% of our learners achieve a pass in their chosen subjects. Working across the city, 97% of learners completed their training, with 62% going on to further education or into employment. I ask the Cabinet to support this next phase of delivery of adult skills support and endorse the recommendations. This will encourage our services to reach many more of our residents to provide the skills, support and opportunities they need to progress. Thank you.
Colleagues, any questions, statements? Dave?
Thank you, Chair. I would like to support the extra funds for learning in Doncaster for residents, which will help to improve skills and education in the city of Doncaster. So I welcome the extra funding. Thank you.
Colleagues, any further questions, statements? I'm delighted to see the additional funding, as we need more and more of our people being given the option to actually get the relevant training needed to secure a better future for them and their families, high-skilled, high-paid jobs. So I'm delighted to see the funding coming in. So therefore, is there a proposal to agree the recommendations as set out within paragraph 5 of the report, please?
Move that, Chair.
Is it seconded?
Seconded, Chair.
Therefore, the recommendations are agreed. Thank you. We move on to item 7, 24-25 Quarter 4 Finance and Performance Improvement Report. And I will introduce this item. This is the Quarter 4 and Outturn Finance and Performance Report for the financial year 24-25, and to outline how the Council continues to deliver whilst operating in challenging and an uncertain environment. The outturn at year-end is a balanced position, with the net overspend of 1.1 being funded from the earmarked reserves identified as planned. This net position includes several large ongoing overspends, including shortfalls against income targets, which are being offset by one-off contingency budgets approved in the 24-25 budget and held centrally for deployment where necessary. The key overspends include adult social care and homelessness. The 25-26 budget provides for many of the 24-25 overspends, but will be reviewed prior to Quarter 1 to ensure the budget approved for this financial year is still achievable. Overall, our performance in Quarter 4 remains largely on track, reflecting our continued focus on delivering high quality and value for money services for our residents. There have been some notable successes for this quarter. 555 homes have been energy retrofitted throughout the year, focusing on our most vulnerable tenants and residents. Persistent absence in secondary schools has dropped compared with the same point last year. Work progresses to shape the plans for delivery of our joint local health and wellbeing strategy. We have seen a significant increase in our recruitment of both qualified social workers and residential social roles. We are within our target for the number of people we have supported to move into care homes, and over the last year, we built 385 new affordable homes. However, there are some areas where further progress is needed. We remain committed to addressing these challenges and building on our successes to ensure we continue delivering for the residents and businesses of Doncaster. Thank you. I will now ask Cabinet members to indicate by raising their hand if they wish to ask any questions in relation to this item. No one's raising any particular items in this. I'm delighted to see that we were able to come in with a balanced position, and we knew that the overspend that we'd budgeted for centrally could cover this. We are a well-managed financial institution, and we will continue to do so. We will continue to look at all new ways in order to introduce the best possible way that we can serve our residents and our businesses. So with that, I'm delighted to see that we've balanced, and we've done this despite the 14 years of austerity. but last year was the first year we had some additional funding, which was greatly received. So with that, I will ask people if they're prepared to move this, please.
Move it, Chair.
Seconded? And therefore it is actually approved. I move to item 8, which is St Ledger Homes of Doncaster Limited, key performance indicators and tenant satisfaction measures, update for Q4 financial year ended 31st of March 24-25. All invite Deputy Mayor Councillor Glyn Jones, Cabinet Member for Environment, Housing and Safe Communities to introduce this item.
Thank you, Chair. Colleagues, before us today, we have papers from St Ledger Homes which include Q4 performance against the key performance indicators set by this council for St Ledger Homes. Attached to the documents are a series of detailed benchmarking information which enables us to consider the performance of St Ledger Homes against the rest of the social housing sector across the country. 40 KPIs were agreed with the City of Doncaster Council at the start of 2024-25. 13 are tenant satisfaction measures that are required by the regulator of social housing and are measured annually, and 27 are other St Ledger operational KPIs. As we know, amongst the 40 key performance indicators, we set St Ledger particularly challenging targets. However, marginal improvements are reported here. In 17 of these areas, St Ledger Homes are meeting the target. In 14 areas, St Ledger Homes did not meet the target we set. This is a reduction of 3. Before commenting on the areas where targets were not met, I would like to mention a couple of areas for colleagues to note. Firstly, for KPI 1, another exceptional performance on rent arrears, where the target was exceeded and further improved since Q3. Secondly, for KPI 5, settled accommodation at prevention stage has continued to exceed the target due to improvements in case management, resulting in a further increase in this KPI. Additionally, there has been robust performance on complaints KPIs, with all targets in responding to complaints now within target range. I will address some of the areas now where targets were not met. KPIs 2 and 3 relate to rent loss on void properties and the time taken to let properties. Housing acquisitions are adding additional pressure to the void system, as is the void created through temporary accommodation process. Although not meeting the target when benchmarked, St Ledger compare favourably with other housing providers, councils and ALMOs, and score above the median on these indicators. St Ledger are completing a let to key review of how voids are managed through the processes, and this provides an opportunity to improve performance. Whilst this is particularly challenging, every St Ledger home standing empty is one less property we can offer to a homeless family or those on the waiting list, and we will continue to ensure St Ledger prioritise this critical area through a sustained focus. I want to reiterate the points I have made previously. Firstly, as a council, we will continue to do all we can to assist those that are forced to live without a permanent home. Doncaster is not unique. Every council across the country is experiencing homelessness issues. As a council, we are doing far more than within our statutory duties, and teams across St Ledger and this council are working closely to support anyone experiencing or at risk of homelessness. I need to make a point about KPI 10, Throughout the year, we have seen steady and sustained progress being made. St Leger are experiencing a continued and sustained high demand for the repairs service. However, the introduction of the one repairs service is showing positive early signs, and the backlog of 6,500 repairs experienced within the repairs section has now been completed, and work continues to improve the response times. St Leger have addressed the issue by undertaking the one repairs review and investing additional resource. The improving picture demonstrates the model is working and will, over the coming months, improve performance further. In terms of the tenant satisfaction measures, perception survey results, it is pleasing to report further increases in all but one area. The quartile results are benchmarked with all other housing associations and councils in the survey. It is pleasing to report that in the Housemark benchmarking results, St Leger Homes improved 2 of their quartile results from quarter 2 to quarter 1, demonstrating positive performance when comparing nationally. With that, Chair, I commend this report to Cabinet. Thank you.
Cabinet, does anyone want to make a statement or ask any questions in respect of this report? I will certainly make one, and that is about voids. And I do accept that our voids would be really in target if it wasn't for the new acquisitions. But in order to increase our housing stock, we will continue to go and acquire properties where they are meeting the standards that we want, but also having to bring them up to the standard prior to letting. So with that, I'm delighted to hear that we're getting better satisfaction surveys. It's one we will watch because these are the residents and actually saying when they think things are right and also telling us when they think are wrong. But with that, I think we've got a good outturn from St Leger. So if we look to that, is there a proposal to agree the recommendation as set out within paragraph 3 of the report? Is it seconded?
Seconded.
Therefore, the recommendation is agreed. That now concludes the items of business on the agenda today. I would look to thank everyone for their attendance and input. I will now close the meeting. Thank you.